Helen never thought it would happen to her. At 67, she still walked every morning, watered her garden, and carried her groceries like she had done her whole life. She wasn't old, at least that's what she told herself, until one quiet Tuesday morning. She reached up to grab a cereal box from the kitchen shelf, just like she had done thousands of times before. But this time, her balance shifted. Not a fall, not even a stumble, just a tiny moment. So small, she didn't even mention it to her daughter later that day. But that moment stayed in her mind. Why did my arm feel weak? Why did my body react slower than usual? Is this how it begins? And that's the truth no one ever warns us about. Aging doesn't knock loudly. It whispers. It shows up in the smallest motions, the reach, the turn, the step. And suddenly, we realize we're not moving the way we used to. But here's the part most people don't know. Those small moments, they're reversible. And today, I'm going to show you exactly how. Now, before we talk about exercises or routines, we need to understand what truly changes inside the body after 60, and why those tiny moments happen in the first place. You've heard it your whole life. Just walk every day. But what if that simple advice has been holding you back without you even knowing? Most of us grew up believing that walking is the gold standard of healthy aging. And don't get me wrong, walking is wonderful. It keeps the heart warm, clears the mind, and keeps the joints moving. But here's the unexpected truth. Walking only trains your body in one direction, forward, one speed, one predictable pattern. And as we move past 60, real life demands much more than that. Let me show you what I mean. Linda, 69, walks 3 miles every morning, rain or shine. Everyone in her neighborhood calls her the morning sunshine. But one afternoon, while stepping up onto her porch, a step she had taken thousands of times, her foot hesitated. Just a tiny wobble. Not a fall, but a moment that felt different. I walk every day, she told her daughter. So why did that feel so hard? Because walking strengthens endurance, but it does almost nothing for the muscles that protect you when you slip, turn quickly, misjudge a step, or lose balance for just 1 second. It doesn't challenge your core stability. It doesn't train your reaction time, and it doesn't load your bones enough to keep them strong. That's why so many older adults who walk daily still struggle with climbing stairs, getting out of a chair, or recovering from a simple misstep. And none of this is your fault. You were simply never told that walking is only one piece of the puzzle, not the whole picture. If this sounds familiar, let me know in the comments. Have you ever felt your balance shift even though you walk regularly? To really understand why these moments happen, we need to look inside the body, at the changes in muscle, balance, and coordination that naturally appear after 60. And that's exactly what we're exploring next. What if the changes you feel in your body aren't signs of weakness, but signs that your body needs a different kind of care? Aging gracefully doesn't mean staying young forever. It means understanding how the body changes and learning how to work with those changes instead of fighting them. Let's take a closer look. After 60, most people lose about 3% of their muscle mass every year. Not because they aren't trying, but because the body becomes less efficient at building and maintaining muscle unless it's challenged the right way. At the same time, something else quietly shifts. Reaction time. Signals that used to travel lightning fast from your brain to your muscles now move a little slower, not enough to notice day to day, until one moment you reach for something, turn too quickly, or misjudge a step. This is exactly what happened to Frank. For 40 years, He climbed ladders, carried toolboxes, and had the kind of reflexes most younger men envied. But last winter, while stepping down from his truck, he felt his balance lag behind him. Just a half second, just long enough to scare him. "I didn't feel old," he told me. "I just felt delayed." And that's one of the biggest changes after 60. Your nervous system needs more intentional training, not just movement, but movement with purpose. There's also the quiet decline in proprioception, your body's ability to sense where it is in space. It's why turning too fast feels different now, and why uneven ground seems a bit more challenging than it used to. And then there's bone density. Without specific types of loading, bones slowly thin, not dramatically, but consistently. The good news? Bones respond to the right signals, no matter your age. All of these changes are real, but none of them are fixed. They're simply systems that need a different kind of input to stay strong. When you understand why your body feels different, you stop blaming yourself, and you start making choices that help your body thrive again. Have you noticed any small changes in balance or reaction time lately? Share your experience below. Your story may help someone else feel less alone. Now that we understand what changes inside the body, let's uncover the powerful mechanism that allows your cells to rebuild strength, stability, and youthfulness at any age. What if your body had a built-in switch that could turn aging mode down and rebuilding mode back on? And what if that switch was inside every muscle, bone, and joint you have? If there's one concept that can completely change how you think about aging, it's this one word that sounds complicated, but is beautifully simple: mechanotransduction. Don't worry, we're not turning this into a biology class. Here's the warm, human explanation. Every time you press, pull, step, lift, or stabilize your body, your muscles and bones feel that mechanical pressure. And instead of ignoring it, your cells respond like tiny scientists. They say, "Oh, she needs this muscle. Oh, he needs stronger bones here. Oh, balance needs support. Let's rebuild." That's mechanotransduction. Movement, mechanical force, cellular repair plus growth. This is exactly what Mary discovered. At 66, she loved gentle walks and simple stretching. But she still felt weak when standing up from the couch or carrying groceries. Her doctor told her, "Walking keeps you moving, but it doesn't give your cells the signal to rebuild." So Mary added a few minutes of purposeful strength work. Things like pushing against the wall, standing on one leg, and doing slow sit-to-stands from a chair. Nothing intense, nothing scary, but within 2 weeks, she said something beautiful. "My body feels awake again," because she finally activated the switch her cells had been waiting for. When you add the right kinds of forces, not heavy weights, just intentional movement, your cells literally receive youth signals. Signals that tell them to get stronger, rebuild tissue, increase stability, and improve coordination. It's like sending a message to your body saying, "I still need you. Stay alive. Stay active. Stay responsive." And the body listens at any age. Aging isn't the result of your body breaking down. It's often the result of not sending it the signals it needs to build back up. Have you ever felt your body wake up after trying a new movement? Tell me below. I'd love to hear your experience. Now that we understand how movement sends youth signals to your cells, it's time for the exciting part. Which movements create the strongest, fastest, and safest transformation for people over 60? That's exactly what we'll uncover next. Walking is wonderful, but it trains only one path, one direction, one predictable pattern. Your real life, it's unpredictable. You turn, step sideways, react suddenly, bend down, reach overhead, catch yourself when you slip, and that requires a different kind of strength. That's why this 5-exercise framework is so powerful, because each movement activates a piece of your body that walking leaves behind. Let me break it down simply. 1. Core stability movements. These strengthen the deep muscles that keep your spine steady. They protect you when you twist, reach, or stand from a low seat. 2. Leg and hip strength movements. These are your power muscles. They help you climb stairs, step over obstacles, and stay steady during sudden shifts. 3. Balance training. Walking doesn't train balance, it only trains rhythm. Balance exercises retrain your inner senses so you stay upright even when the ground or your body moves unexpectedly. 4. Multi-directional stability. Life isn't one straight line. You need sideways, backward, diagonal confidence. Exactly what these movements build. 5. Reaction and coordination drills. These wake up your nervous system so you respond faster during a stumble or misstep. This is what Jacob discovered. For years, he believed walking was enough. But one day, while stepping onto a bus, he felt his knee buckle slightly. A tiny moment that told him something was missing. So he began incorporating 5 simple exercises into his mornings. Nothing intense, just focused. After 2 weeks, he said, "I feel solid again, like my body reacts before my mind even thinks." That's the magic of these movements. They don't just make you fit, they make you capable. Strength and stability aren't built by moving more. They're built by moving intentionally in ways the body actually needs. Which of these 5 areas do you feel you need the most? Strength, balance, stability, or reaction time? Share in the comments. Now that you understand the 5 pillars, let's walk through each one step by step, starting with the most foundational movement your body needs after 60. What if one simple movement could help you catch yourself during a fall, before the fall even happens? When most people think of strength after 60, they imagine leg strength, hip strength, or balance. But there's one area almost everyone overlooks: your upper body, the part that protects you when life suddenly surprises you. That's where wall push-ups with holds come in. They look simple, they feel gentle, but they train one of the most powerful skills you can have as you age. The ability to push yourself away from danger and stabilize your body instantly. Let me show you how this works. When you lean toward the wall and press your hands against it, your arms, chest, shoulders, and core activate together. When you hold the position for 2 to 3 seconds, your stabilizers fire, even the small muscles that help you catch yourself if someone bumps into you or if you stumble forward. This is exactly what helped Susan. For years, she felt nervous walking through crowded grocery aisles. One small bump from behind was enough to make her panic. But after practicing wall push-ups with holds every morning, just 10 slow repetitions, something changed. Last month, someone accidentally brushed past her cart. Instead of stumbling, Susan instinctively placed her hands forward, braced herself, and stayed steady. She laughed and said, "I didn't freeze. My body knew what to do." That's what this exercise builds: upper body confidence, the kind that keeps you safe in real life, not just during workouts. Strength isn't only about lifting heavier. Sometimes it's simply teaching your body how to react with control, even when you didn't expect to move. If you've ever felt unsteady when someone bumped into you, tell me below. This exercise might become your new best friend. Now that your upper body is getting stronger, it's time to build the foundation of all confident movement after 60. Strength in your legs and hips. What if the key to walking faster wasn't in your feet, but in a tiny muscle group most people ignore? There's a small group of muscles that determine how fast you walk, how easily you lift your foot, and how confidently you climb stairs. Most people never train them directly, which is why walking can begin to feel slow or unsteady with age. The good news: you can activate and strengthen these muscles with one simple movement: seated leg lifts. When you sit tall on a chair and slowly lift one leg, you target the hip flexors, the muscles responsible for pulling your leg forward during every single step. They're also the muscles that lift your foot high enough so you don't trip on uneven ground or the edge of a rug. This is exactly what helped Robert. He enjoyed morning walks with his wife, but over the years, he noticed something. She kept moving ahead while he lagged behind. Not because he was tired, but because his legs weren't lifting as quickly as before. He said, "I felt like my feet were dragging." So he started practicing seated leg lifts, 10 slow lifts per leg, once a day. 3 weeks later, he told me something wonderful. "I'm walking next to her again, not behind her." And the best part? He stopped catching his foot on the small threshold at his front door. His steps were higher, lighter, and more responsive. That's the power of training the muscles that actually control your stride. Sometimes, the biggest improvements in your mobility come from strengthening the muscles you didn't even know you needed. Have you ever noticed your feet dragging or catching on small obstacles? Tell me in the comments. This exercise might help more than you think. Now that your steps are getting stronger and quicker, it's time to build the one skill that protects you the most in everyday life: balance. If I told you there's one simple skill that predicts how long you'll stay independent, would you practice it for just 30 seconds a day? There's a beautiful truth about aging that most people never hear. Your lower legs are your body's natural stability engine. They're the first to react when you lose balance, the first to correct your posture, and the first to catch you when you stumble. That's why heel raises combined with a balance challenge are so powerful. When you lift your heels slowly off the ground, you activate the calf muscles and the stabilizers around your ankles, the exact muscles responsible for keeping you upright when life throws you a surprise. And when you pause at the top, your balance system switches on like a spotlight. Your brain and body talk to each other more clearly, sending faster corrections, sharper reactions, and stronger support. Just ask Elaine. For years, she relied on the railing every time she got up from her porch steps, not because she was weak, but because her ankles didn't feel trustworthy anymore. "I could walk," she said, "but I didn't feel steady." So, she started practicing heel raises plus balance challenge every morning while holding the back of a chair. 10 slow raises, 3 seconds at the top. 2 weeks later, something changed. She noticed she could turn around in the kitchen without grabbing the counter. She walked across the lawn without feeling wobbly. She stood to put on her jacket without leaning on anything. And one day she told me, "I feel like I have my independence back." That is the true purpose of this exercise, not just balance, but freedom. Independence doesn't disappear overnight. It fades slowly, and it can return just as steadily when you train the muscles that keep you grounded. Try standing on your toes for just 1 second. How does it feel? Share your experience. I read every comment. Now that your stability engine is awake, it's time to train one of the most important movements for real-life confidence: sidestepping and multi-directional strength. What if your ability to sit down and stand up could predict how long you stay strong, independent, and even how long you live? Out of all the movements you can train after 60, there is one that doctors, physical therapists and researchers agree on: your ability to sit down and stand up. It's called the squat-to-chair test, and it's one of the strongest indicators of longevity and independence. Why? Because this single motion requires nearly every major muscle group in your lower body: your quads, glutes, hamstrings, hips, and core. It also tests balance, stability, and coordination all at once. And here's the part many people don't realize. If you can stand up smoothly from a chair, you can climb stairs more confidently, you can get in and out of a car more safely, and you can move around your home without fear. This is exactly what changed Henry's life. At 76, he hated the feeling of pushing himself out of chairs. He felt embarrassed at family dinners when he had to use the table for support. "It made me feel older than I was," he said. So he started practicing squat-to-chair every morning. 10 gentle repetitions, slow on the way down, steady on the way up. The first few days were shaky. But one morning, without even realizing it, he stood up from the chair, using nothing but his legs. He said, "I felt capable again." That's the gift this movement gives you. Not just strength, but dignity. Not just fitness, but freedom. A strong lower body isn't just about muscles. It's the foundation of independence, confidence, and long-term vitality. Try standing up from your chair once without using your hands. How did it feel? Share your experience below. I'd love to hear your story. Now that you've mastered strength and stability, there's one final piece of the puzzle: training your body to move confidently in all directions, just like real-life demands. If there was one exercise that could protect your spine, sharpen your balance, ease your pain, and even support your brain, would you do it for just a few minutes a day? If there's one movement I wish every person over 60 could learn, it's the bird dog. At first glance, it looks simple. You're on your hands and knees, extending one arm and the opposite leg. But inside your body, something remarkable is happening. Your core stabilizers are firing. The deep muscles along your spine are waking up. Your brain is coordinating left and right hemispheres. Your balance systems are recalibrating, and your body is practicing the exact pattern you need to stay steady on your feet. This is why researchers call bird dog the single most powerful anti-fall, anti-pain, anti-aging movement. Linda didn't know any of that when she began. She just knew her back hurt. Every morning, she would brace herself before picking up something from the floor, afraid that sharp pain would shoot down her spine again. Her daughter showed her the bird dog one afternoon, so Linda tried it. The first time, she wobbled. Her hips rotated. Her arms shook. But she held it for just 3 seconds, and that was enough. Day after day, she practiced. And somewhere around week 6, she realized something incredible. She bent down to tie her shoes. And there was no pain. Her balance felt solid. Her core felt alive. She said, "For the first time in years, I trust my body again." That's the hidden gift of bird dog. It's not just a movement, it's a rebuilding. A reconnection between your mind and your muscles. A quiet message to your body that says, you're still strong. You're still capable. Strength doesn't always come from big movements. Sometimes, the most powerful changes happen in stillness, control, and the courage to try again tomorrow. If you've never tried a bird dog before, give it a gentle attempt today, and tell me how it felt in the comments below. Now that you've learned the 5 essential movements, there's one more step: bringing them together into a simple weekly routine that protects your mobility for decades to come. What if just 8 weeks could completely change how your body moves, feels, and ages? Imagine having a clear roadmap, one that shows you exactly what to do, week by week, so you never feel lost, overwhelmed, or unsure if you're doing enough. That's the purpose of this 8-week strength and stability program. It takes everything we've talked about: the wall push-ups, the seated leg lifts, the heel raises, the squat to chair, and the bird dog progressions, and organizes them into a gentle, doable routine that builds strength the same way nature grows trees, slowly, steadily, and beautifully. Here's the journey: weeks 1 to 2, the foundation phase. You're focusing on learning the movements, low reps, slow tempo, just teaching your body the patterns again. Most people say this phase feels like waking muscles up. Weeks 3 to 4. The control phase now. Your balance starts improving. Your core begins engaging automatically. Movements feel smoother, more coordinated. This is the point where many realize, I'm standing up from chairs easier, and I didn't even notice when it happened. Weeks 5 to 6. The strength phase. You add gentle progressions, a longer hold, a second set, or extra reps. Your legs, core, and posture begin to feel more solid. Your steps feel lighter. Some people say their joints feel younger. Weeks 7 to 8. The confidence phase. Everything clicks into place. Balance, strength, and mobility work together as one. This is where you start moving through your day with a steadiness you may not have felt in years. That's exactly what happened to Mark. He started the program because he felt slower and more unsteady than before. By week 4, he noticed he no longer grabbed the counter when stepping into the shower. By week 6, his back pain, something he carried for a decade, had eased. And by week 8, he told his daughter, "I feel like my body is mine again." When progress is consistent and structured, your body responds with gratitude. And it doesn't matter if you're 60, 70, or well into your 80s. Your muscles, bones, and brain still know how to grow. If you'd like me to turn this 8-week plan into a printable PDF you can follow at home, just let me know in the comments. And now that you've seen what your next 8 weeks can look like, there's one final message I want to leave you with. Something every person over 60 deserves to hear. What if you could check your fall risk at home in less than 60 seconds? When it comes to healthy aging, one truth rises above everything else. Falls don't just happen. They leave clues. And the beautiful thing is, you can spot these clues yourself, right at home. This simple fall prevention home test takes less than a minute, and it gives you insight into how strong, steady, and balanced your body truly is. Here's how it works. Step 1. The single leg balance test. Stand next to a chair. Lift one foot just an inch off the floor. Start counting. If you can balance for 10 seconds or more, your risk of falling is significantly lower. If you wobble, grab the chair, or can't hold the pose, that's not failure. That's information. It tells you your balance systems need strengthening. Step 2. The sit to stand test. Sit on a chair with your arms crossed. Stand up, sit down, repeat as many times as you can in 30 seconds. This measures leg power, core stability, and your body's ability to recover from a stumble. Most people are surprised by the number they get, not because it's bad, but because it's clearer than anything their doctor ever explained. That's exactly what happened with Evelyn. She always felt a little unsteady, but she never knew what that meant. One afternoon, her granddaughter showed her this home test. Evelyn balanced for 6 seconds on one foot. Then she did 8 chair stands in 30 seconds. She looked up and said, "So this is why I've been feeling nervous on the steps." But instead of fear, she felt relief. It wasn't a mystery anymore. She finally had direction. For the next few weeks, she focused on the exercises we talked about: heel raises, chair squats, bird dogs, and a month later, she repeated the test: 10 seconds on one foot, 12 stands in 30 seconds. She smiled and said, "I didn't just improve, I got my confidence back." When you measure something, you can improve it. Awareness isn't discouragement, it's empowerment. Try the test yourself today, and if you'd like, share your results in the comments so I can help interpret them. Now that you know how to measure your stability, let's talk about the simple daily habits that keep you strong for years to come.